Hello everyone, Merry Christmas season, and it's time for another epic vinyl update. It's been at least a few months since the last time I did one of these, and of course I have some more vinyls to show off for you all. I was waiting to do this video until today because I actually just got another vinyl in the mail, so that's going to be in this video. Now I could group these vinyls by category like I did in the second video and just have them like laid out at my feet, kind of sorted into categories, but then I realized that that would be a lot of work. And so I'm just gonna pull them off the shelf as I see them, and we're gonna go over them. So thank you so much for watching, and let's jump into the shelf, shall we? Beginning with a very special one in honor of the holidays, and that is a vinyl copy of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, narrated by Boris Karloff. Specifically, the entire front side of this record is the actual narration by Boris Karloff, whereas the back, or side 2, is the music from the holiday special. He really was a mean one, wasn't he? And this is a very special edition because it is on what is described as Grinch green vinyl. So let's take a look at what that means. So we've got this just beautiful transparent green vinyl. And of course we have Dr. Seuss's sketch of the Grinch here. And like I said, side 1 is entirely one recording, and that is Boris Karloff's narration of the story. And side B, or side 2, is the music, Welcome Christmas, Trim Up the Tree, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and Welcome Christmas, a reprisal. But yeah, this is just an amazing, just beautiful green record. Produced by Chuck Jones and Ted Giesel. I believe Ted Giesel is related to the Seuss himself. And this is a 2015 remaster of the original 1966 recording. And personally, as we get closer and closer to Christmas, I cannot wait to play this thing. I have a few vinyls that are holiday themed, and they will all be getting some mileage this Christmas season. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, and we got another interesting one here. This one I have not had the time to spin yet, but I may do so today. This is the Carl Stalling Project, music from Warner Brothers cartoons from 1936 to 1958, otherwise known as the Looney Tunes collection. This vinyl contains music, both singing and instrumentation, from iconic Looney Tunes cartoons, all remastered in 2024. This is a double LP, of course, and we'll get to the color later because it's very special. But in the inside here, we have a full spread of what I assume is the orchestra behind many an iconic tune from the folks at Looney Tunes. And we've got some nice artwork on the front that you may have seen. Iconic characters: Bugs Bunny, Tweety Bird, Elmer Fudd, Sylvester, Foghorn Leghorn, Pepe Le Pew, an early sketch of Daffy, looks like, Porky Pig, just iconic characters. But before we get into the vinyls, we also have a little booklet here, very epic. Got some original artwork, panels from iconic Looney Tunes cartoons, as well as a guide to the many songs you will see in this project. An appreciation letter about Carl Stalling. This booklet largely seems to be a loving tribute to Carl Stalling, who this project is of course named after, as well as some artwork from cartoons, a photo of what I assume is the man himself, and a line of release credits, all music written by Carl Stalling. Okay, so that's who he is. But now let's get to the vinyls, because they are quite interesting in and of themselves. Starting off with the first LP, which is a beautiful bright orange vinyl, in keeping with the color scheme of many a Looney Tunes cartoon. Absolutely insane, very lovely design. And on the other side you can see the actual guide for the tracks that appear on this LP. And then we have the second LP of this project, which is on a complimentary blue vinyl, which I absolutely love. because orange and blue is kind of the iconic color scheme of these cartoons. And so it's just amazing to see this project realized in these two colors, in this color palette. I haven't had the chance to spin this one yet, but I absolutely will be very soon. Because I grew up on the old Looney Tunes cartoons. We have many a disc, many a box set of the iconic cartoons. And so I grew up watching these cartoons, and I would love to experience this project on vinyl. And up next we have the one I just got today, which is a big one, because it is the entire soundtrack for Stardew Valley on vinyl. This thing is immense. It's big enough that when I took it out, my entire shelf of vinyls shifted, which is fine, I guess. Now this one was particularly hard to find because when I found out that there was a Stardew Valley vinyl, obviously I wanted to get my hands on that, but the only website that carried it was out of stock. And just last month I got the email in the morning that it had come back into stock, and so I bought it within like 5 minutes. This is the official soundtrack by Concerned Ape, the developer, and we have just this beautiful, colorful image on the front here. Absolutely fantastic work. We've got all the farm animals, including the dinosaur retreating into the coop there. We, of course, have all of the bachelors and bachelorettes from the game, and of course the monsters lurking below the surface. And this soundtrack is organized into the 4 seasons. This is a quadruple LP with LPs for spring, summer, fall, and winter. So a truly massive project, and one that I cannot wait to spin. And so let's actually take a look at these records, because I've only actually looked at 2, because again, this literally just came in today. Beginning with the spring collection, which you can see the tracks that are on that, and some amazing artwork on the back, and each LP has its own seasonal artwork, which is just insane. This was a labor of love, you can tell. And let's show you the actual vinyl, because the spring vinyl is this gorgeous pink splatter vinyl, which is just insanely beautiful. And of course we've got the Junimo on the artwork, which I love. Stardew Valley is one of my favorite games of all time. I have logged a ton of hours in that game. And so this soundtrack was an absolute must-have as, you know, someone who collects vinyls. Speaking of which, we are officially over the 1-year mark of me actually having a turntable, which means I have been a vinyl collector for just over 1 year now. There's no real point to saying that, I just thought it's really cool that, you know, I bought my turntable in October, and I bought 2 vinyls to spin with it, and now here we are, and I've got all that. All right, let's take a look at summer. I haven't actually taken a look at the summer or autumn ones yet, so I'm very excited. But we've got this amazing summer artwork, including many of the various crops that you can harvest during that season in the game. The artwork for this is immaculate. I swear not all the vinyls I bought have special colors. This just happens to be the ones I'm doing first. But we've got this gorgeous green splatter effect, which I absolutely adore. Look at that. Just an amazing looking vinyl. I hope I'm showing this in a way that you can see. Look at that. It's gonna be a real shot to my ego if the lighting ends up messing up with these vinyl displays. So that was summer. Let's take a look at fall. This vinyl was, and I believe still is, available on the website Fangamer. That's where I bought it. And so if it's still in stock and you are interested, I would absolutely check it out. Okay, so we've got the fall themed artwork on this one. Lovely as always. And I wonder if this is gonna be on orange vinyl. How much do you want to bet it's on orange vinyl? It is, it is. Well, it's on like an orangey yellow, so I'm kind of half right, but look at that. An amazing design. This is my first time seeing these, so I'm just kind of taking it in myself too. Yeah, this is absolutely getting spun toot sweet. And here we have winter. We can see a little starfruit design here. There's also starfruit iconography across the entire box too that I did fail to show you. But amazing seasonal artwork. I might play the winter vinyl just because it's obviously it's winter here. And this one is on a luscious kind of grayish blue vinyl. Just absolutely amazing. And the starfruit in the center, incredible. Yeah, this is absolutely getting spun later. And that is my Stardew Valley soundtrack on vinyl. Most of these things I buy at record stores, so I don't really necessarily shout them out just because they're like, I don't know, like there's only one location, or it's a Sunrise Records, which is all over Canada. But this was at fangamer.com, not sponsored, but they are the people that I bought the Stardew Valley soundtrack on. I believe it is an exclusive product to them, because on the actual outside of the box, it has their logo. Yeah, there we go, fangamer.com. All of the album artwork and design is by Carrie Fry, so massive shout out to Carrie. This is a gorgeous collector's item. Well, not a collector's item, it's a gorgeous vinyl packaging. And of course, shout out to Concerned Ape for the amazing game that would inspire this and for composing the actual soundtrack. This is a huge one. It's just so beautiful. I just love looking at it. He's kind of holding the rest of the collection together right now. Eventually I'm gonna build a console to put my turntable on. I've had the blueprints, like I drew up the blueprints custom a while ago, because right now it just kind of sits on an old dresser of mine, which is not the most ideal. And this is one I actually forgot to mention in my last vinyl haul because I had it all the way back then. And that is the album Violator by Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode is a band primarily known for their synthwave inspired pop music, synth pop, but the album Violator has some amazing tracks on it, and I'm a huge fan. Enjoy the Silence, Personal Jesus, Policy of Truth, just an insane album. And it's also got its own concept. There's prevailing themes of like a downward spiral into drug abuse and trying to overcome that obsession. It is a very hazy, very groovy atmosphere. I do have it still in its protective sleeve just because for the single LPs I wanted to protect the actual vinyl sleeve, because this is a single LP. Here we've got the members of the band and more artwork of the rose on the cover. And it is just a standard black vinyl. Like I said, not all of these will be special editions, but we've got all the tracks and their lyrics. Very fun. Absolutely recommend this album if you're into like European synthwave music. It was my dad who introduced me to this particular band, of course. But I think I was the first of the two of us to get Violator on vinyl. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, fantastic album. I've spun it numerous times this year alone. And let's move on to the next one. Now, I haven't spun this one either, but you know I had to get The Doors by The Doors. And this particular version is on 180 gram vinyl and includes original stereo mixes for 3 of their tracks. Now, I will admit, I'll be the first to admit, I am a fake Doors fan. The first time I ever heard their music was the track The End, which is used in the Francis Ford Coppola film Apocalypse Now, which I am absolutely obsessed with. The very hazy atmosphere in that track really complements the descent into madness that you experience in the film. And so that was my first exposure to The Doors. Just an amazing climactic scene at the end of the movie with this track, with the track The End playing over top of it. Incredibly brutal, trigger warning for real animal death, but it is an incredible film and a very just insane film. Looks like the sleeve has a sleeve. That's very fun. You can never have too many layers of protection with your vinyls. And this is, of course, on black vinyl, just your standard black vinyl. You can definitely tell it's 180 grams. This vinyl has got some weight to it, but I do think that some very interesting and important art did come out of that, and so I do have their one of their albums on vinyl. And it's going to be a nightmare to get back in because of the double sleeve trick that they pulled on me. While I do this, am I still recording? Good. My box I keep forgetting to throw out. All right, what's next on our list, I wonder? Ooh, this is the only other vinyl that I have bought online. Every other vinyl that you see was purchased at a record store, but I couldn't find this one and I absolutely had to have it. This is the 2025 hip-hop album Alfredo 2. This is the second album-long collaboration between Indiana rapper Freddie Gibbs and legendary hip-hop producer The Alchemist. This is an incredible album that I have been listening to obsessively since it came out. The best way I could describe it is that this is the kind of album I would absolutely want to hear on GTA 6. The production is at times lo-fi, but at other times very relentless and aggressive, and Freddie Gibbs's flows on every single track are relentless and hardcore. And the whole thing is meant to have a very nocturnal atmosphere. This is a very good album for driving around a city at night, and it has a very strong Japanese influence, from the skits that pop up in between tracks to the album cover itself, this being a bowl of ramen, not Alfredo, of course, and the back looking almost like the menu at any kind of like Japanese restaurant, which I just think is a really nice touch. The unifying branding of this album is immaculate. And Freddie Gibbs might be one of the most insane lyricists I have listened to in a while. He's, in terms of lyrics and like quality of raps, he's pretty up there. There have been some amazing hip-hop albums to come out of 2025, and this is absolutely one of them. And the Japanese influence carries on to the inside as well. Firstly, we have this full spread here, which is really cool. We've got a picture of Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist themselves, as well as that guy. Very standout tracks. If I had to pick some favorites, 1995, Lemon Pepper Steppers, Ensalada, Skinny Shug 2, Feeling featuring Larry June, and Ensalada features Anderson .Paak, I didn't mention. Feeling is definitely one of the more sentimental cuts on the album, but I absolutely love its placing in the greater album. There's also Gold Feet featuring Jid, who is an up-and-coming rapper. Gas Station Sushi's another standout, and 1,000 Mountains, the end track of the album. Those are just some of my favorites off of this album. Now this is a double LP, but I'll just show you one of the vinyls, because once you've seen that, you've seen both of them. Again, continuing with the Japanese influence, you can see this is an artist rendition of, like, you know, chopsticks, picking out noodles, and on the back we've got some writing here, some script. I don't speak Japanese, so I will not be translating that for you. And this is what you can expect from the inside. Standard black vinyl. with the Alfredo 2 branding. I also just recently listened to the original 2020 album Alfredo for the first time, the first one, and it was just as amazing and stylistically different than this one. Like, you can tell they're cut from the same cloth, but they are distinctly two different albums, which is good. That's how you should do an album concept that, you know, is a part 1, part 2 type thing. Not part 1 and part 2, but like, you know, they're named the same. Some of the tracks are named as an homage to tracks from the previous album. But yeah, Alfredo 2, absolute legendary album. I love this one. And coming off the heels of that, we also have We Still Don't Trust You. This is a project from Atlanta rapper Future, as well as legendary producer Metro Boomin. This was off of the heels of their first album of similar naming, We Don't Trust You, which is a legendary example of Atlanta rap. But this one, We Still Don't Trust You, was much more of a sentimental project as opposed to its predecessor. A lot of the cuts on this see Future almost entering a sort of blend between hip-hop and R&B, which personally I found very interesting. And that holds true except for side D. 3/4 of this double LP is a very sentimental, almost R&B-esque album, but side D is a full-blow return into trap. And there's some great standouts on side D, of course. All My Life, Crazy Clientele, Show of Hands with A$AP Rocky. There are also features from the likes of The Weeknd, Brownstone, Ty Dolla $ign, J. Cole. And for this little thing, we gotta They Still Don't Trust You, so better get on that. And we've got the track list and credits, and we've got additional photos on the actual sleeve of the vinyls. And this particular version of the album is on limited edition white vinyl, which is very elite, very cool. And like I said, this is a double LP, and both vinyls are on this white vinyl. And so I won't pull the second one out all the way, but we got some more photos of the duo Future and Metro. If your Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Just an amazing album to listen to. Admittedly not as good in my opinion as its predecessor, We Don't Trust You, but I do still enjoy several tracks off of this album. And what's next? Ooh, Gary. Let's go Gary. Up next, we have the contemporary blues album, Still Got the Blues, by artist Gary Moore. Pictured here is Gary as a child playing his guitar with a big old poster of Jimi Hendrix on his wall. And then flash a little forward to him as a grown-up, still gotting the blues. This is an amazing album that I discovered years and years ago. I also bought the CD for this album, which was crazy. I found the CD at a Sunrise Records in Edmonton, and that particular version of the CD was a Japanese release of that CD, and so all the cover art and stuff was in Japanese, which I thought was just an insanely cool find. I still have it. Some standouts here, Texas Strut, Still Got the Blues, As the Years Go Passing By is probably my personal favorite. Amazing jazz instrumentation and vocals, and proof that a white guy can have motion. And this is on limited edition green vinyl here. Oh Pretty Woman is also a standout in this album. I love this moody nocturnal atmosphere that is oftentimes set in this album, though there are breaks to just kind of go crazy with it. But yeah, this is an amazing album that I will probably be spinning pretty soon here. As the days get darker earlier and earlier, I do find myself craving that nocturnal sound, which is another reason that I love Alfredo 2, albums like this, Still Got the Blues. I would definitely recommend giving this a listen if you are a fan of the blues. because clearly Gary Moore was a big fan of the blues for a long time before this. And now for a crazy find that I cannot believe that I found. For this one, I was visiting a friend of mine in BC, and we went to Fort Langley to an antique store. And of course, being an antique store, there were tons of vinyls just in crates, lots of used vinyls for like $5 that you could sift through. And in that pile, I found a diamond. The Poems and Songs of Middle-earth by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a recording of Tolkien himself narrating his own poems and songs in enhanced stereo audio, intended for use on either stereo or monaural phonographs. Poems in English and Elvish from The Lord of the Rings and The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, read by J.R.R. Tolkien, as well as The Road Goes Ever On and On, sung by William Elvin, with Donald Swann the composer at the piano. And I have given this a spin, and it is insane. Not only is the audio quality still there, like there's no scratches or blemishes with the record, but just being able to hear Tolkien's voice narrating his own works is something truly special. And so I have loved listening to this record. Now this is a single LP, and we'll take it out of the case here so you can see it a little better. But look at that. And this original artwork is, I believe, by the person who is noted for doing much of the iconic artwork surrounding the Chronicles of Narnia. I used to know a little bit more about the history of this artwork in particular, but I have forgotten. And inside it has been preserved in a protective sleeve, which I greatly appreciate. And funny enough, at this same antique store, while I was going through their records, here you can see it's on standard black vinyl. It is old, it is aged, you can tell, but there are no scratches or blemishes, at least none that have impacted the playback of this record. But while I was scouring through these vinyl boxes at this antique store, I came across a vinyl pressing of the radio broadcast of the Hindenburg disaster, like the actual audio recording of the radio station that was covering the imminent crash and then subsequent explosion of the Hindenburg, which was insane. I almost wanted to buy it purely because it was a piece of history, very morbid history, but history nonetheless. I did not buy that. Maybe it'll still be there when I get back. Probably not. But this was a legendary find for me. I am a huge fan of J.R.R. Tolkien and his not only his Middle-earth saga, but also his extracurricular work. As you can see on the shelf, I've got a few of his things right there. And so to me, this was an absolutely mythical find at this antique store. Even if it didn't play at all, I probably still would have got it purely for just the value that it has to me personally. And up next, I have the soundtrack for the motion picture La La Land. Now this is a single LP, but it features the entire soundtrack from the film La La Land, starring Emma Stone and literally me. And here is the vinyl itself. It actually is showing side B first, but here is side A, standard black vinyl, of course. Now, of course, some of you may wonder why on earth I have a soundtrack for La La Land, to which I would say, sorry, what was that? I blacked out for a second. Anyways, this is a fantastic soundtrack, so you know I had to get the vinyl. The trick to watching La La Land is just simply stopping the movie before it ends. People who've seen the movie know what I mean. Just stop it before it ends. Then you're fine. And up next, we have the #1 best-selling album in the world, Thriller by Michael Jackson. You know I had to get at least something from the boy. I actually wanted to get this before Halloween. Sadly, I was unable to do that, but I did get it shortly after. And on the inside here, we have a spread of Michael Jackson with a tiger cub. Look, man, he's the king. He can do whatever he wants. Absolutely iconic tracks on here. Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, and of course produced by the legendary Quincy Jones. This isn't any kind of special collector's edition. Those can go from anywhere from 80 to like 250 bucks, probably more. I have seen some very expensive versions of this album, but this is not that. This is a simple 2015 remaster, nothing special. I don't need any collector's version of this album. I just wanted to have the album. And on the inside here, we've got some very fun, spooky artwork. And of course we have the track list as well as a breakdown of the lyrics. And if we open this up, it is on, of course, your classic black vinyl with the Epic Records on there. A very iconic album in the history of pop music, in the history of Michael Jackson. I have seen the trailer for that biopic about his life. I hope it's good. I really do, because Michael Jackson was an absolute legend, and I just hope that they're able to, you know, do it justice in the movie. The casting was really well done, at least from what I've seen of the trailer. So yeah, that's Thriller. I don't know if I've talked about this one, but I do have F1 Trillion, the country album by artist Post Malone. I have always said that this man needed to be doing country. He always had a voice for it. He always had a passion for it, from what I've seen. And so I'm kind of glad that he finally made the jump. I did love his hip-hop records as well, but he just has the voice for country. And of course, this album was made in collaboration with some absolute titans in the country music scene, both current and former. And if we open this up, we've got a spread of them making the album cover, because they did absolutely drop a truck into the water. And as proof of that, I have a little booklet in here that is a frame by frame of the truck's descent into the water, as well as a track list. This is a huge thing that like opens up like a poster. I'm trying real hard not to rip anything. I'm sure you can see at least some of that. Absolutely love this album. It's a great just traveling album, and a great homage to country music, both past and present. And I've always thought that Post Malone had a great pen. Like, he was good. He was a good lyricist, and that's put on full display in this album, I think. And this is a double LP on standard black vinyl, with the center made to look like the rims of some truck. Just a really fun album, really fun listen. How long have I been recording now? At least an hour, I think. I believe there's video footage of me showing that I have collected almost every single Weeknd album out there. See, I have actually collected his entire discography on vinyl because he is one of my favorite artists of all time. And so I got his entire discography, and I believe I had gotten everything except House of Balloons. I'm gonna try and show House of Balloons here. Bear with me. That's the best I can do, I think. This is the Weeknd's House of Balloons mixtape, the mixtape that started it all. This particular version was a re-release with the bonus track 28. I'm covering this specific part of the vinyl just because the album cover is not censored, as opposed to other versions that you will find. And on the inside, it's just black, and we've got the track list here, of course. And the vinyl is your standard black vinyl. It is a double LP with the tracks listed on the sleeve, and this is what that looks like. Very lovely, very demure. Sorry, just gonna pull up my videos here. I can't remember how far I've gotten in my weekend saga here. Shout out to the 2.3 thousand of you who watched my Meat Canyon video. I was very proud of that one, so I'm glad people liked it. Okay, so all I was missing was the House of Balloons mixtape. Well, I officially have it. And again, I'm censoring because I don't want YouTube to murder me. And so that means I officially have The Weeknd's entire discography on vinyl, except for the EP, My Dear Melancholy. I'm not sure if I'll ever come across a copy of that, but if I do, you best believe I'm gonna scoop that up. I do have a CD copy, but I do not have a vinyl copy. And with that, we have my entire vinyl update. Wow, that was a lot. I don't know how long this recording is gonna be. I feel like I've been recording for roughly an hour. So hopefully that doesn't mean that I have bought a lot of vinyls in the interim between uploads of this series. But I just like talking about vinyls. I like going through the ones that I really love and showing you guys all what I've been listening to lately. And so that's kind of what this series now at this point gives me an opportunity to do. And so if you've stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching. I absolutely recommend these albums that I've talked about here and now. They are, at least in my mind, some amazing works of music. And because I've posted 2 videos in a row on the topic of physical media, I promise that my entire channel is not going to just become me doing an X thing haul. Like, I review every single book on my bookshelf. I promise I'm not gonna be doing that, although I am passionate about some of the things that I have collected, and so I may choose to talk about them. But of course the main body of the channel is still going to be my coverage of pieces of art, works of art that I enjoy, whether that's film or music or YouTube horror in some instances. And Screen Factor will be making a comeback very, very soon. This is a series, and by series I mean I made 2 episodes about it and then life got just insane for an entire year straight. But it is a series where I cover upcoming movies, where I talk about news coming out of the film industry and just give my thoughts on it. It's not a formal show. I am in no way a journalist with a degree in journalism. I just like talking about stuff that's interesting to me, and I hope that you all will stick around for that, as well as my little side quests like what this video was. I especially love the Stardew Valley vinyl. The artwork on that is incredible. In terms of like presentation, that might be my favorite from this video. But let me know in the comments what your favorites of the ones I talked about today are. Maybe talk about albums that you enjoy, albums that you may have collected on vinyl or CD if you do that, because I'd love to hear what kind of music you guys have been enjoying. I am a fan of music of I'd like to think a lot of genres. My taste is ever expanding, and so is my collection. So let me know in the comments what you've been listening to, and hey, maybe I'll give it a shot. Or you can roast my taste in music, that's fine too. And of course, a huge thank you goes out to the patrons: Sean, Happy the Knife, and the top tier patrons, RD, Snowy, and Bottomless Potamus. Thank you so much for being here, for sticking around, and for enjoying the content thus far. And I hope that you continue to enjoy what I have in store. I've got some big videos coming down the pipeline, and so I hope that you're all excited. Got some huge projects that I'm not quite ready to announce, but that I think are gonna be pretty fun. And if you want to see all of my videos early, as well as get access to occasional behind the scenes content whenever I do something crazy, then consider joining the Patreon. All members, producer tier and up, get early ad-free access to these videos. But if you're just interested in supporting me, then of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and there are cheaper tiers where you can offer your support in smaller ways. It's 2025. I know times are tough for everyone, so don't feel obligated to support me. Just subscribing and enjoying the videos here is more than enough. But with that said, I'm gonna get this video edited and up for you all, and I will see you next time for whatever I have in store next for you. I hope that you're excited for that because I know that I am. And cut.